What's going on? Make sure you check out our new sponsor, Cell Phone Buyers Recyclers. They pay cash for smartphones and tablets. Like and share their social media pages, Facebook and Instagram, and websites in the description for a chance to win an iPhone. What you waiting on? Hurry up and get that iPhone. All right, former Detroit Piston, I know him as a Piston, and Philadelphia 76er, Jerry Stackhouse, spoke on Kobe Bryant and spoke about the negative side of his game with Adrian Wojnarowski on this podcast. We'll get to that in a minute, but he opened up, talked about when the Pistons shipped him off to Washington, I think for the Rip Hamilton trade, which was one of the turning points of our franchise in Detroit. He said that he was mad as hell, and he did not like playing with Michael Jordan, so let's talk about that. I'll link both articles in the description. On the article link, if you want to read them for yourself, hit that subscribe button, bell icon button. And he said basically that, Doug Collins was the coach in Washington. I forgot that. And I remember one of the reasons I continue to not like Jordan as a player, I went to see Michael play the Pistons one last time when he was in Washington, and he didn't even tell nobody he wasn't showing up till minutes before the game. So Michael Jordan, a real asshole. He always had something against Detroit. We don't like his ass here, no way. People like his shoes, but people that grew up and know the history of the Pistons know why. But Stackhouse was traded over there. He said it made him look at his idol a lot different. He went to North Carolina, so did Jordan. No way, Jordan is the greatest college basketball player of all time. That is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And also you got Bill Walton, who was a beast as well too. But you can't tell these ESPN New Age idiots that. But he basically was like, when I got to the team, Doug Collins kind of wanted to make up for Michael Jordan. He was the coach of the Bulls, and it didn't work out. And then Phil Jackson took him and won 6 rings. And he said that basically they did everything Michael wanted, them to do. If Michael wanted a lot of isolation ball, and when they was winning, Jerry Stackhouse felt that, the offense was going a totally different direction other than ISO ball. And Michael was kind of jealous that Jerry Stackhouse, the offense was going a little bit through him and they was winning. So Michael, he had a lot of power in the organization. Remember, he was a co-owner or something of the organization at the time. Would tell Doug Collins to have the offense go through him, and the offense would go through him, and, according to Jerry Stackhouse, they wouldn't win. That they called a lot of isolation ball for Michael, and it just seemed like Jerry was basically saying that him and Michael bumped heads a lot of the times because it was, what Michael wanted to do. It wasn't for the betterment of the team, and, Michael was basically being a prima donna, and they was getting a lot of ISO ball, and he was stagnating the offense, and the offense was doing a lot better once Jerry, Stackhouse was, implementing the offense. But you got to remember, Mike and Rip Hamilton didn't get along. They stay after the gym and bet money and shoot. And Jordan used to hold up the team playing. Rip Hamilton used to say, hold on. He used to hold up the team playing, for them shooting. They would shoot for money and gamble. And Jordan had a bad gambling problem, and he wouldn't let the team playing leave or the team bust lose or leave until he got his money back. And he said Rip Hamilton just wasn't a good enough NBA player. So they shipped him. They shipped him for Jerry Stackhouse. But what's so funny about it is Kwame Brown was a good enough NBA player. See, Jordan don't know talent. He traded, Jerry Stackhouse for Rip, and Rip took off in Detroit, And what was wrong in Washington was, Jordan, old ass Jordan thought he still was in his prime. He still thought that he was the 6th ring Jordan, and and he got a coach in there, Doug Collins, that'll do everything he said, doing more. And Jerry Stackhouse like, dude, look, he was saying that, at the time the Pistons was going in the right direction, shit was starting to change. And he left that organization, and then in hindsight to see what it became, he probably thinking like, man, we could have won a couple rings, with me. I'm better than Rip Hamilton and this, that, and the third. But, Jerry Stackhouse was a phenomenal scorer for the Pistons. You know what I'm saying? He just wasn't getting no notoriety because the team wasn't winning, But, we had to have Rip. Rip, fit better. Rip was just a better fit for what we wanted to do. And, long story short, he rotted and wasted a lot of the rest of his prime with the Wizards, and he wasn't happy with Jordan. He said basically that made him look at Jordan a lot different than what he did. Now from the outside looking in, and on the inside, you see how he did. And he would tell Rip Hamilton he wasn't good enough, and you ain't this, you ain't that. And, probably the same thing going on with Jerry Stackhouse. He like, man, get me up out of here. We ain't trying to win. We just trying to give Michael a farewell tour. We just trying to, it's the Michael show. And when you feel like you better than Michael, you know what I'm saying? At that point in his career, he no longer is airness. You just looking at him as his arrogantness at that point. And, you know, you can't get mad at Jerry Stackhouse because you look at what Detroit came like, damn, man, if I would have stayed there. But he had some stories there when he bust Christian Laettner in the eye. You know, Jerry Stackhouse was known for putting them hands on dudes. He was known for being demonstrative and, you know, beating up on dudes. And that's why probably one of the reasons he got out of Detroit, because of his mouth, and he was just so much of a dominant scorer, and Rip was so much of a better fit. Joe D just seen it a lot different than everybody else did. I don't know if it was Jerry unwillingness to defend or something that he seen in Rip Hamilton. It was a chemistry fit or whatever. If they would have kept Jerry Stackhouse, would they have won some rings? I don't know. Jerry Stackhouse was a phenomenal scorer. He was, if you needed a bucket, Jerry can get you a bucket. He can shoot it. So that was kind of what the Pistons was missing when they didn't draft Melo. They was missing a guy that you can throw him the ball, Adrian Dantley type of guy. You know, you give him the ball and he can go out there and get you a bucket. You know, with Rip Hamilton, he ran off those screens and, you know, pin downs and curls and all that. He ran off that. He had to run plays to get him open. Jerry, you can clear the side out and get a bucket. So, and I think Rip was more committed to defense at the time as well too. But, you know, Jerry looking like, damn, man, I left Detroit and it turned the corner. They won the championship. And I'm in Washington with Michael Jordan, who can't draft for junk. So, but he did go on to talk about Kobe in a negative light, saying that, I guess that's when he was up there in Philly. I thought he was from Philly for some reason. That's Rashid. He was from the Philadelphia area. He was in the Philadelphia area. And he said that, you know, the bad people didn't want to play with Kobe up there because Kobe was a ball hog. But you got to remember, Kobe was an outsider. He came from like Italy or some stuff like that. And he moved to Philadelphia back to America. And, you know, that was always a rap on Kobe, that Kobe didn't pass the ball. Kobe was a ball hog. And, you know, at a young age, I can only imagine a young, you know, prime, you know, I'm not going to say prime, but primed up Kobe Bryant. And Jay Stackhouse basically said a lot of guys didn't want to play with him because he didn't want to pass the rock. And a lot of people, you know, held that to be true in his NBA career, even though he got a lot of assists. But he learned to pass the rock, you know, and I can see it. A young, arrogant Kobe was very arrogant. And a lot of people took that arrogance, you know, took that confidence as arrogance, but that's pretty much what it came off to. He said in the pickup games, nobody would want to play with him. It was a lot of times where he didn't get picked up, and I think that would probably help mold him and shape him into the player he became and all the assists that he got. You got to pass the ball, you know what I'm saying? And I think he figured that out, but it was a lot of times that when he got the ball, you know, in them pickup games, that it was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal sight to see him fill the bucket up the way he did, and he was a gifted guy. But people acting like, you know, a young Kobe was supposed to be perfect, bro. This is somebody that had a totally drastic, different cultural change. You know what I'm saying? And you probably got the dudes in Philly who didn't really accept him like that because he really wasn't from there. They probably didn't accept him like that, and he was probably a social disconnect. But, you know, he still went in the draft, got drafted by Charlotte, ended up getting to the Lakers and, you know, winning multiple championships, and he figured out how to pass the ball, you know. And he said to Coach Lionel Simmons would try to tell him, you got to pull him aside, you got to pass the ball, you got to pass the ball. And it's just something that he had to figure out for himself. But he also goes on to say, I guess there's some rumors out there that a young Kobe used to, at 17 years old, used to consistently dominate him in one-on-one. And Jay Stackhouse said, you know, no, that wasn't the case. He said at 20, Kobe physically couldn't hang Jermaine with me. He said, did he beat me every now and again? He said, yeah, but he consistently dominated me? No. You know, and people looking at it now probably saying like Kobe probably did dominate a 20-year-old Jerry Stackhouse, but 20-year-old Jerry Stackhouse was pretty nice. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't going to just roll over no 17-year-old Kobe Bryant. So I can't believe him on that. But it was a lot of rumors going around Jerry Stackhouse. It was a rumor that Tyler Hansbrough beat him one-on-one and dunked on him or something like that. He said that didn't happen. So you don't know what to happen. I think Jerry Stackhouse got a lot of pride, you know, to admit some of these things going to happen. So, you know, I can see him and Kobe going back and forth at that age. But Stackhouse can hoop. He can shoot it, he can get to the rim. Stackhouse was hella nice, you know, just that he just was, you know, an individual player that just had to get his own bucket. You know what I'm saying? He had a little bit of that Kobe tunnel vision in him, man. But he never really stuck at a place and won nothing because he just was a scorer first, and he just didn't have that team around him. But phenomenal scorer. But I could see him and Kobe going back and forth, but he was in the league. He was the 76ers, so he played probably a lot of pickup game with Kobe, and played with one of the greatest players of all against one of the greatest players of all time. So, one thing I just hate is when people come out here and say, "Oh, this didn't happen," and they trying to be negative about a guy that can't come back to life and defend himself. So a lot of these dudes, or they get locked up. A lot of these dudes got all these stories about Suge Knight, how they didn't back down, or he got this story about Kobe. Could nobody anticipate Kobe was gonna die that young, but it's always gonna rub some people the wrong way, especially when the wound is still fresh. But Stackhouse is a thorough dude. Go look at his interviews about beating up Christian Laettner, beating up the Utah Jazz coach. What's their coach name? Quinn Snyder. You know what I'm saying? He did it on that show on ESPN with the dad that be rapping, and Bomani Jones and David Downer. Man, I'm telling you, bro, it's funny. It's funny shit. Talk about punching Christian Laettner. I'm gonna put that interview in the description if I remember, man. It's the funniest thing, bro. He said Quinn Snyder told him he needed them hands put on him a year later. I guess Quinn Snyder cheap shot him in a game in Utah, and Jerry Stackhouse was known for beating ass. So Jerry Stackhouse waited outside his locker room and beat him up in the tunnel. When he came out, he said a year later, Quinn Snyder was with another team. He came up to Jerry Stackhouse and said, "I needed that ass whooping." He said, "I needed them hands." It'll be the funniest shit you heard all day, but I appreciate it. Check out our NBA Talk playlist. Don't forget we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out to the email or reach out to me on social media. No more email. You got donation, business inquiry, sponsorship, video requests. Appreciate the love, support. Let me know what you think about the video. Let me know what you think about the whole situation with Jordan, Kobe. Check out our NBA Talk playlist, NBA 101 playlist. Check out our Retro Hoops playlist. And I heard LeBron kind of changed his tune on when to finish the season. I think a lot of the players got to him about they not getting their salaries, but we'll see what happened one time for the one time. It's your boy CJ Goodfellow Sports TV. We done.